This is a tactic that has worked, as we saw in this morning's session. It is a noble and honorable strategy that has worked in the civil rights movement. It worked in the case of South Africa. What was not mentioned this morning is it worked also with Northern Ireland with the McBride Principles, which was a broad movement in this country to divest from companies in Northern Ireland that discriminated against native Irish Catholics in the north of Ireland, similar to the Sullivan Principles that we heard about this morning. So there are many examples of BDS and BDS-like strategies working. So the alternative is up to us to provide. There is now this debate, this hot debate about one-state solution or two-state solution, and many people have honest questions about it. You know where I stand, but that doesn't mean you have to agree with me. But the BDS call, the call for academic and cultural boycott of Israel from Palestinian civil society, does not call for a one-state solution or a two-state solution. It names three kinds of Israeli injustice and oppression that have to be ended. Denial of Israel's responsibility for the Nakba, in particular the waves of ethnic cleansing and dispossession that created the Palestinian refugee problem, and therefore refusal to accept the inalienable rights of the refugees and displaced, stipulated and protected by international law. Secondly, military occupation and colonization of the West Bank, including East Jerusalem and Gaza. And thirdly, the entrenched system of racial discrimination and segregation against the Palestinian citizens of Israel, which resembles the defunct apartheid system in South Africa. So it's important that whether you think about one state or two states, that you recognize that all of these forms of oppression have to be ended. That if tomorrow we woke up and we found Israel had withdrawn from the West Bank and Gaza Strip, admittedly not very likely, that leaves two-thirds of the problem intact. The oppression of Palestinian citizens of Israel and the racist oppression of Palestinian refugees who are denied the right to return to their homeland for the sole reason that they're from the wrong ethnic group. That's simply unconscionable in the 21st century. So it's important to keep our eye on all three aspects of the systematic injustice against Palestinians. And to recognize that we cannot now, we can discuss and debate, and I can advocate, and other Palestinians can agree with me or disagree with me, what an outcome would look like. But I think we need to begin to have that discussion, and with the coercion of the BDS movement, to begin to have a vision that can start to draw Israelis once they recognize that the present system is untenable. And BDS creates the conditions for us to begin to have that discussion. I want to end by saying something that really I believe very, very deeply when I look around this room. When I think of my parents and the parents of many other people in this room, many Palestinians in this room and beyond this room, my parents were from the generation that lived through the Nakba, who lost their homes and lost their country, and they were among the lucky ones. But those in Gaza, 80% of people in Gaza are refugees, in Lebanon, in Syria, and in Jordan, all over the world. I believe that that generation, the first generation of the Nakba, who is now getting on in years, alhamdulillah, many of them are still young and in good health, and may they live long lives. But that generation deserves to see justice in its lifetime. And when I look around this room, I am convinced with all my heart and all my mind that this is the generation that is going to help them see that justice. Do your work. Be patient and stay in it for the long haul. History is on our side, and we can win. Thank you.